My name is Kwabena Chenchaini. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, the Tsar and lawyer for a 24-year-old student impregnated by a Catholic priest has filed an application to compel the Foreign Affairs Ministry to waive diplomatic immunity on the Reverend Father Lucien. Father Lucien is accused of neglecting his responsibility to the 24-year-old after he impregnated and had a child with her. My colleague Kwetenate was in court and has been speaking to the lawyer for the victim, Francis Xavier Sosu.
I think it was just a preliminary hearing. This is a family issue, so it is held in camera. So what happened today was for us to appear before the court with counsel for the respondent, who are equally willing for the process to go on, except that the person at the center of this whole case is a diplomatic agent, and the law requires that it will go through a process through which the writ to be served on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Chief Protocols Office, so that they would apply to become or second the institution for which the man is working, for them to waive the diplomatic immunity. Now, SECAM or BICAM has a right to either waive or not waive that diplomatic immunity. If they choose not to waive, the ministry could make application for him to be sent out of the jurisdiction or to be sent out as a diplomat. But I believe that given the religious nature of the work SECAM does, I believe this is a case in which everybody, including all the Catholic bishops in this country, will be interested in waiving this diplomatic immunity for the man to be subjected to the jurisdictions of the court, so that we will know the truth of the matter. If he's subjected to the paternity test and it comes out that he's the father of the child, the appropriate things that he's supposed to do, then he does it. So that's what we are waiting to do. The court has ordered that the registrar make sure that the writ is served on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Foreign Affairs and regional integration. So we are looking forward to facilitating that process, so that by the time we return back to court by the 10th of May, this process would have been taken care of, so he can come and stand before the court.
With this request to serve the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, are there any timelines that were attached to it by the court, looking at the urgency of the case?
Well, the timelines that have been attached is the 3 weeks adjournment we've been giving. The assumption is that within these 3 weeks we can work very fast enough for this application to waive immunity, and for the immunity to be waived if I believe the people who are supposed to do that believe in children, believe in children's rights, believe in the future of these children. They are going to waive that immunity so that he can appropriately come and stand, for the matter to be, inquired into.
What has his lawyers been saying?
Well, they have been cooperative. They believe that this is a matter that they would also be willing to resolve, and they are willing to go through the process, except that, as you can see, they are also constrained because they are diplomatic agents and want the full laws. It's an interplay of our diplomatic act in Ghana, the international, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Immunities. It's an interplay of international law and local law and all that. So they are also waiting for the process to go through and for their client to come to court so we can inquire into the matter.
To some more stories now, and there's growing tension between the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II and the Achimebwakwa and Yamotia of Foripenyi. The Ashanti Youth Association are peeved about the treatment meted out to the Otumfuo's representative during the funeral of late Ibwakwa North MP J.B. Dankwedu last week. We can now go live onto the phone and speak to Daniel Mafo Foriata, who speaks for the Ochihene, and he's joining us over the phone lines now. Good afternoon, sir. Many thanks for your time. So, how do you respond to these allegations by the Ashanti Youth Association?
Well, first of all, I think that it's important that we make it clear that there's no personal animosity or ill feeling between the two kingdoms, Asantehene and Ochimai. In fact, Ochimai enjoys a very cordial relationship with Asantehene. And what happened at the funeral of Honorable J.B. Dankwa will not jeopardize the good relationship between Ochimai and Asantehene. But it's important that we put what happened in perspective. What happened at the funeral was most unfortunate. The customary protocol was that on such public occasions, the host chief will go around to greet all anonymous and dignitaries present, and that what the visiting chief does is to respectfully observe customary protocol by standing up to embrace the host chief. Nananom on this occasion has sent an advance team to inform the Samponghene, that is, if I get it right, the representative of the Asantehene, that the Ochehene was approaching his tent to exchange customary courtesies with him. The Ochehene got there, according to custom, and stretched forth his hand. And then the Samponghene refused to stand up to embrace him. So he walked away, and that's all there is to it. We want to assure everyone that there's no friction or animosity between Ochimai and Asantemai. The Ochehene and Asantehene enjoys very good relationship, and that we do not in any way think that the conduct of the Asampohene has the blessings of the Asantehene. Because the 2-4 that we all know will not countenance such breach of customary protocol.
So this very act that seems to have brought about this entire debate and this whole discourse in the first place, for instance, is the Ochehene looking at moving out of his comfort zone just to ensure that peace prevails?
Well, I think that this issue is people are trying to create a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, really, what happened in Ochehene does not consider it as anything of substance to be concerned with. As far as we are concerned, whatever has happened will not jeopardize the good relationship between Ochimai and Asantemai, and that's what there is to it.
Right. So please hold on briefly for me while I bring in Nana Kwame Poku, who is the communications director for this youth group, and they have been raising quite a number of issues with this. And joining me now over the phone lines is Nana Kwame Poku, like I mentioned earlier. He's joining us with some thoughts on this. So, Mr. Poku, so this is what you have been told by the spokesperson for Ochehene. I believe this should be enough to put every issue to rest. Is that not okay? Are you satisfied with what he's saying?
Thank you very much for the opportunity granted us, and my warm regards to your listeners. You see, the spokesperson made mention of some customary protocol. I don't know, but maybe we all have to get some education on that. Because if the Otumfuo, in his own wisdom, delegates his powers to the Asampohene, Ohene Bafojo, to step in his big shoes, to represent him in a funeral, as protocol demands, all the necessary courtesies you are going to give to the Otumfuo must be given to whoever is representing him. That is, it's simple. You don't need an expert in traditional customary to tell you this. So once the Otumfuo, the king himself, endorse someone to be there for him, it is uncalled for someone to say because he didn't stand up from his feet to greet the Achimebuakwahine, and that is a breach of protocol. It is neither here nor there. It is wrong because we have footage. We've watched the footage, and very soon we'll make the footage available for everyone to view. You see, you can just watch from and deduce from what the footage was trying to portray that the Ochehene, that point was like, sorry, if one sorry, I mean, we have the footage there and we have everything. We will make it available very soon.
Nana Poku, just a second here. Now, some are suggesting that really, are you not stretching this a little too far? Because clearly they have said that, well, it isn't such a big deal anyway, but if you do need them to even apologize, they may do so just in the interest of peace. So why stretch this issue further?
You see, my brother, we are not stretching it. We are not stretching it in any way. In one breath, the spokesperson says the incident was unfortunate. In another breath, he is trying to justify why that happened. So we are sitting on the fence now. We don't know as to whether they are stands now.
Okay. So what do you want them to do exactly?
I mean, my brother, this is very simple. For customary sake, if you do, and then for courtesy's sake, if you do something against anyone, what is the best thing to do? It's just to apologize, and then we all smoke the peace pipe and we move on.
Okay, so you want them to apologize. Let me now get the thoughts of Daniel Mafo-Foriata, who's also with us on the phone. So, Mr. Foriata, is the Ochehene, for instance, going to apologize for this act?
So we will not dignify the so-called statement by the Asante Youth Association with any form of dignity or respect. We are not sure whether Aya, as they call themselves, are speaking for Mensia. And we do not know also whether Mensia has appointed Aya to speak on their behalf.
No, but if really these are concerns, just a second, sir. If really these are concerns that are being raised at the highest level in Mensia,
it does not lie in the mouth. It does not lie in the mouth of this group to determine what customary protocols are. You understand? It does not lie in the mouth of Aya to determine what customary protocols are. So first of all, it's important to establish this, that we are aware of attempts by certain groups and political forces to use this issue to incite tribal and ethnic emotions between Ochimai and Asantemai. This attempt will fail. You understand? The mutual respect, may I repeat, that the mutual respect between Ochimai and Asantemai will not be jeopardized because of what happened at Honorable J.B. Dankwe's funeral. The Ochimai and Asantemai are looking at the bigger picture of cooperating in order to improve on the conditions of the people of this country. And we will not dignify the statement by Aya within a response. We do not want to bring about any form of emotional incitement between the people of Ochimai and Asantemai. Okay. And so that's all there is.
Final word to Nana Kwame Poku. So they are saying they are not going to apologize. What next? What now for you? Nana Poku, you can hear me? Yes.
Yes, sir. It portrays the sort of it gives a light to the whole world to know I don't even want to go there. If they are not ready to, he said it, they are not going to dignify with any response. I mean,
he says for starters, they don't even know whether you are really communicating the views of the Otumfo or
we have not stated in anywhere in the press statement or our press conference that we are the official mouthpiece of Mensia. No, we are the youth of the region, the youth of the kingdom.
And you see this as that. You see this as a bit of an insult to Otumfo said to, and then
a big one, not a bit, a big insult to the royal king. I mean, to His Royal Majesty. And so if now he's telling the whole world that they are not going to dignify anything, they're not going to apologize, they're not going to do this, I mean, it should tell you where they are coming from. And to my last point, he made mention of
I'm just asking what you are going to do now. They are saying they are not going to apologize, they are not going to retract that. So what now?
Yes, my brother, I'll come there. He made mention of some political parties or whatever.
We are hard pressed for time, sir. So I just want to know, what is your next line of action, sir?
Our next line, we as an association, we met and we came out with this statement. Now they've made it clear that they are not going to adhere to whatever we said. So we are going to meet possibly on the Akwesidia, which is Sunday. Then we decide the next line of action.
Many thanks for your time on News Today this afternoon. Those were the words of Nana Kwame Poku. He's a communications director for the group that raised this very issue. We also had on the phone lines Daniel Mafo, operator, spokesperson for the Ochinhene. He also spoke to us on this very same issue. We'll see how this situation plays out eventually. But let's still stay with some issues of tribalism. And the 2012 flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndom, is blaming the employment situation, the unemployment situation in the country on tribalism and corruption. Addressing students of the Catholic University in the Bono-Hafo region, Dr. Ndom urged the students to make the necessary change needed to create employment opportunities for graduates across the country. He noted, although there are lack of job opportunities for graduates, it is possible to create many employment avenues with the right attitude and leadership.
In this Ghana environment, in every region, there is something that can be done. So what are the things that we need to do differently for these jobs to be created? Well, let me start from the top to come to the bottom. We have what I call twin evils in Ghana. Twin evils. One evil is tribalism, or you might call it ethnocentrism or whatever it is, but I choose to say tribalism. The other one is corruption. Plain and simple. Someone reaching a position, maybe in the private sector, maybe in the public service, it may be in the political administration. And somebody knows perfectly well that Kofi sitting here, the job that is available he's not suited for it. He's not qualified. But his hometown boy, Kofi, needs a job. So, by all means, he gives that job to Kofi. But Kofi can't do it. And yet he's sitting there. And he has prevented somebody else who is better qualified from occupying that seat. And so whatever it is that we're supposed to do, it's not progressing. So that is one issue, and it is all over the country.
Funding student politics, the sure way to prevent politicians from getting involved and manipulating the student front. That's what student leaders in some tertiary institutions in the country are proposing. Now, speaking on Newsdesk earlier today on how to maintain a strong student front in the face of a weakening youth prospect, the SRC presidents of the Africa University College of Communications and the University of Ghana said if the country was serious about having strong leaders with integrity, the best option is to allow the state to fund their political activities on campus.
It's a big problem because it denies student leaders to think independently. It denies student leaders to be creative and remain focused to the cause for which they were elected. And that is a big problem. I would want to differ a bit from what my senior colleague has said, that if you look at some years back, the strategies that were adopted to press home the demands of the Ghanaian student. Today, the Constitution of Ghana in Article 21 still gives us that right. Demonstration is allowed, but it proffers some other things that we could do, using the media and all that. But trust me, when you write, if you even take your concerns to the media through maybe writing to the appropriate bodies and all the negotiation that you can do, how many people will attend to you? Because they funded your campaign. Because they were there to support you to win. And for that matter, they've clipped your wings. You cannot argue, you cannot push them to the wall. That is why student leadership of these days seem ineffective. Those days, we probably didn't make those errors, but we grew up to hear that student leaders demand, and it was happening. They brought all the necessary reforms that probably has kept this country on a track of prosperity and good governance that we can enjoy today. I am calling on the Ministry of Education and all other stakeholders in education to look at this thing carefully, because we should look at, you are contesting an election within a certain confinement, your institution. Why print T-shirts? Are you a political party? Why do big banners and you have to meet people, buy drinks, buy food, fund groups to be chanting your names all along? It doesn't make sense. It's absurd. The absolute issue is that students are hard-pressed with a lot of challenges that need solution.
You're watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll return shortly with some more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. To some more stories now. And the opposition New Patriotic Party is demanding the dismissal of BNI Director Yao Donko following the detention of the personal photographer and bodyguard of its flag bearer Nana Addo Akufo-Addo yesterday. The pair accompanied Nana Akufo-Addo's head of security detail, Captain Koda, to the BNI offices, where items taken from the residence of Captain Koda were to be returned to him. Deputy Director of Communications for the NPP, Michael Kwe Jr., says they will also press charges against the BNI for what they describe as a disgraceful act.
Well, let me start by saying that yesterday's events were most unfortunate. The reason simply is when anyone goes to a police station, and let's assume the BNI office is also a police station, which it should be under the circumstances, to act as a witness or as an informant. In fact, you can actually say you don't want to say anything. And what they will tell you is that, okay, you are free to go until we have any further things to ask you, or you're free to go pending further investigation. I am totally shocked that a photographer of Nana Akufo-Addo and a security person called Malik, Mr. Chairman and Malik, would go to the BNI on the invitation of the BNI to come and sign as a witness for Captain Koda's goods. Captain Koda's goods were seized on the premise that Captain Koda had done something illegal. We all know that that South African story didn't wash, and eventually the people had to be deported without any charges or without any guilt. That was done by the BNI. We also know that the BNI detained these South Africans against a court order, illegal behavior. Then this same BNI, after taking Captain Kode's goods from his house, what had to happen was that they have to sign so that the BNI realize they've done nothing illegal. They say, come for your goods. But so that you also don't say that A, B, C, D has not been given to me, but A, B, C instead. Bring those same witnesses so that they will sign as witnesses that you got your things back. Why do they have to fill the profile form, which is for suspects? People who are going to be charged with an offense. Why were they detained against their will? Even for 20 minutes is a criminal offense.
Okay.
Let alone for hours.
So leading to the question I asked earlier, whether or not this very action lends credence to the many things we've heard the MPP say that seem to suggest that you believe that the BNI is at this point in time being used as a tool to intimidate yourself, I mean the MPP, ahead of the elections. Not
in that description. We are saying that the BNI, under the watch of President Mahama, is being used as a tool to intimidate Ghanaians. The man who was arrested, the owner of the Marbles company, I don't know if he's an MPP
Marbles
member.
and Granites, yeah, Dr.
Yes.
Iniayo.
The South Africans, they are not MPP members. The other MPP members who have been arrested by the BNI are also Ghanaians. Our point is that under the watch of President Mahama, there seems to be a certain pattern by the BNI not to respect the rule of law. And we know who appoints the head of BNI. We know that the head of national security has come out in an open statement to the media to say he ordered the arrest of the owner of the Marble and Granite Company, which is against the law. You cannot arrest anyone unless they are in suspicion of committing a crime or in the process or have committed a crime. So under what category did these people fall into? The photographer and the security man. Were they suspects? Have they committed a crime? Are they about to commit a crime? Why were they arrested by the BNI? And by John Mahama not sacking the head of the BNI after all these rule of law blunders, he's either in support of his actions or, as we say in the local parlance,
to some more stories now, and the Director General of the Prison Service says the Nsawam Government Hospital has stopped the provision of medical treatment to inmates due to the facility's indebtedness, which currently stands at some 80,000 Ghana cedis. Deputy Interior Minister James Agaga has also been speaking on the debt stock of the prison service, which has affected food supply. These came to light at a public account sitting earlier today in Parliament, from where correspondent Elton Bobby joins me with a lot more. So, Elton, tell us much more about what we've heard of so far as the prison service is concerned.
Well, just two issues. One has to do with their medical bills and the fact that they owe the Nsawam Government Hospital, and the hospital has decided I will no longer extend medical services to the Ghana Prison Service, especially those who are serving time in the Nsawam medium prison. Now, the reason being that the prison service owed the hospital an amount of 80,000 Ghana cedis. Now, the Auditor General in the 2012 report reported this particular issue, saying that the amount outstanding was 88,000. The prison service made some part payments of 46,000. Now, the amount has again increased to 80,000, and the service has, according to the Director General, has written to the Ministry of Finance for funds to pay the outstanding bill so that they can continue to assess medical. But it looks like that payment has not been done. For that reason, the hospital has taken a decision not to further extend medical services to inmates or the Ghana Prison Service in general. The Deputy Interior Minister, James Agaga, who is assisting the committee in the deliberation of the Public Accounts Committee, indicated that the ministry has written to the finance minister for the release of funds. Indeed, the Prison Service Director General has also disclosed the fact that they are reeling under financial hardship due to budgetary cuts and delay in the releases of their funding for the year. He mentioned that 2015, for example, where they presented a budget of 62 million Ghana cedis. Parliament only approved 14 million Ghana cedis. Out of the 14, only 10 million Ghana cedis was released to the services. The 10 million that was released to the services, 8 million alone went into the maintenance of the inmates in the prisons, leaving just 2 million Ghana cedis for other administrative expenses for him until these issues of budgetary support to the service is reviewed. They will continue to reel under economic hardship, and that will not augur well for the reformation of the people who have been entrusted them in their care.
Elton Robert, many thanks for that update, and that was parliamentary correspondent Elton John Robert bringing us the very latest from that Public Accounts Committee sitting. We're taking a break here on News Today. When we come back, we'll bring your business, proudly brought to you by EcoBank.
Hello, good afternoon again, and welcome to Business. President of the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Seth Ajayban, has revealed many local companies are now importing finished products for sale, mainly because of the high cost of electricity. The recent power crisis adversely affected companies whose operations depended heavily on electricity supply, stifling local manufacturing. The power situation has, however, seen some stability, but the general concern for consumers is the associated costs. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Ajayban expressed worry about this, saying it will only defeat government's aim of boosting local manufacturing to the benefit of the economy.
The business environment does not depend only on power. There are a lot of factors. Rate of borrowing, interest on loans. Now we know that about 60% of our people are borrowing from the savings and loans, and they are borrowing at a rate of 5% per month, which makes it 60% per annum. That is a challenge. How do you borrow and pay such interest and be able to even break even and make profit? Apart from that, energy is the price of energy is tripled, and it's a huge burden on businesses. What you put in is what you get out of it. So it means that if we are putting such amount into our production, the final cost is going to be too high and will not be competitive. So most companies are resorting to importing and selling finished goods, because in other jurisdictions they have lower rates of power, a lot of other things, lower rate of interest, so they're able to produce at a very competitive price. Duties at the ports are so high even for raw materials. So these are the challenges. It's not only one factor of electricity, cost of power, cost of water, everything is up.
Investment bank DataBank is impressing on policymakers the need for a paradigm shift from the rote learning approach to include hands-on skills and projects. This, the group believes, is crucial for the country's economic development. This came up at DataBank's leadership series, where high-quality education was emphasized as important for good leadership. Kujua Dimensa is Group CEO of DataBank.
This is about Ghana. This is not about politics. This is about the future of the country. It's time we take a second look at how we are imparting knowledge to our children. So that definitely is going to happen. What we don't want to do is to straight away go into the media and to start maybe chastising without engaging them, without making them understand what it is we are trying to do. Then you get buying. That's when you start getting change happening. But if you go the other way of going straight into media and putting them under a barrage of questions and criticisms, they resist change. They will not accept it, even if it is wrong, just to prove where the power lies, so to speak. They will not come along with you. So we need to engage them and let them and carry them along with us in what it is that we are trying to do.
And that's all in business for now, which was proudly brought to you by EcoBank. Join John Kujua at 1 p.m. on the marketplace for more business news. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. Good afternoon.
And that's how we wrap up on News Today this afternoon on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chenche Heneboati. Remember to visit www.myjoyonline.com for a lot more stories. The Place is up next with John Amwako. Many thanks for your company.